Hello YouTube! Today I'm here, very festive with my festive Star Wars top, and I'm wearing a wig. And I have no good reason as to why. Just wanted to kind of switch things up a little. Anyway, so today I'm super excited because I'm going to be talking about something I love with my whole heart and want to make a career out of, which is music. So if you guys know me and have been following my channel for a while, you'll probably know that I'm very into alternative music. So that's like pop punk, metalcore, emo, just like standard punk, punk rock, pop rock, you know, pretty much anything in that spectrum. I like all different kinds of music, but this is one of the genres that I've kind of like stuck with for a really long time. So I wanted to talk about my top 10 alternative albums of 2018 and why I like them. So I know this is a different kind of video. It's not like a vlog and it's not like special effects makeup. I don't know. You know, I switch things up every once in a while, so I hope you guys don't mind this. This is just my opinion and my preferences of just what I liked best and what resonated with me best. So my number 10 slot this year is filled by The American Dream by Trophy Eyes. To tell you the truth, I was very, very, very late on the train of liking Trophy Eyes. I know a lot of people have been into such bands as like Trophy Eyes, like Citizen, Movements, all these bands that I had like heard of and heard the names thrown around for like a really long time that I just like never really listened to or got into. But I recently went to see Hot Mulligan live, and as you guys know, Hot Mulligan, I made a whole video about them. Like, they're one of my top bands, one of my favorite bands ever. I went to see them live with Microwave, and then Seaway and Trophy Eyes were like the two big name. So I really just went to see Hot Mulligan and Microwave, but more Hot Mulligan. I love them, and I feel like they're gonna blow up, and I feel like the shows that they're gonna be playing are gonna become a lot larger, and it's gonna be less like intimate soon, like in 2019, because I genuinely believe that they have the talent and they're just gonna blow up. They just did an article with Alternative Press, I believe, and I actually found out about them from Alternative Press a while ago. They had just like they were talking about their album Pilot. God, I got on a tangent here, but anyway, they were talking about their album Pilot. That's how I found out about them. Love them. So I was at their show, and this was the first time I had ever really listened to Trophy Eyes, like, more than one song. I had heard, like, Chlorine before, which I liked, but I wasn't, like, overly into. And some of their other, like, songs from past albums. But they were absolutely amazing live. Like, the energy was crazy. And there's a lot of bands this year that I've gotten into sheerly based on their live performances. Their live performances are what drew me in and made me like listen to their music with a new set of ears, I guess you could say, and just really get into them. So that's how I found Trophy Eyes. So they had to be on this list, especially their I think it's a single, especially their single You Can Count on Me. Like, I have that song on repeat. It's on my December playlist. It's so good. I don't know this album like word for word. I can scream every single lyric, but like it's one of those albums that I'll just like put on and like listen through the entire thing, which is most of the albums that are at the like bottom of this list, and then as we move up are the albums that like I'm really attached to and like can sing all the lyrics and that kind of stuff. So yeah, but yeah, this is a really good album. Number 9 on my list is Moose Blood. I don't think I can do this anymore. And a lot of people dislike this album and dislike Moose Blood's new sound. And while I can say like, yes, their music is not the same as when I first got into them and doesn't pack the same punch, the musicality of it is more mature and better in other ways. I listened to this directly after listening to my number 8 album on this list, and I associated the number 8 album with kind of like sadness and like December. That's kind of just how it like made me feel. And then Moose Blood, I listened to Moose Blood's album in full right after it, and it just made me feel like really happy. And it kind of brought like more like euphoric, like fun, like bubbliness. I'm not sure if that's just like my take, my personal take, or maybe just like the comparison of the two, but I don't know. I still really like this album, and I just really like them as a band. So I think that, like, if I wasn't such like a diehard fan of theirs, like, it might be different, but it's still pretty low on this list because it definitely doesn't compare to their old music, but that doesn't mean that it's like worse than their old music. It's just very different. So I like the two first tracks probably the best, which is Have I Told You Enough and Talk in Your Sleep. So that's number 9. Number 8 on my list is Sister Cities by the Wonder Years. And kind of the same spiel as I gave with Moose Blood. Their music is very different than it used to be, and a lot of people don't like it because it's not as like pop punky, I guess, as you could say that it used to be. My album for fall was Feel Something by Movements, because the vibe and the feelings that I would get from it, I just completely attributed to autumn. So then in my discovering new music and looking for new music, I wanted to kind of find an album that encapsulated winter for me. And some of you may know I struggle pretty bad with major depression, but like during the winter it does get pretty bad. So I kind of wanted to find an album that I could like cling to when I just needed something a little more like emotionally driven to listen to that I could relate to. And Sister Cities just like took that slot for me right away. I think that while there's none of the like sing-along choruses that might stand out, I think that if you just really listen to the music, the lyrics and the messages, it's really deep and really important and really something different they've brought to the table after their previous albums. So also, the Wonder Years is a band that I never was super into with their older music anyway. Like, I knew it because it was popular, but I didn't like listen to it in my own time. So I think maybe that's why I really like this album, because I'm not like holding them to this standard that I might have had of them in the past and like expecting them to sound a certain way or whatever. So number 7 on my list is Disease by Beartooth, and oh my goodness, I really love this band. A lot of their songs I've clung to in some of my darkest times, and I really started getting into them the beginning of last year when I was in Spain is when I really started listening to Beartooth. I had already known, like, I remember they performed at Warped, so I had already known some of their songs like Sick of Me or Hated or from the Aggressive album, but I hadn't really known Disgusting. And then I found the song In Between, and it really it felt like it was written just for me, because at that point in my life I was definitely stuck in the in-between. Like, it was one of those points in my life where I wasn't necessarily comfortable, but I wasn't like growing either. I was just in this like stagnant, like weird, depressing area. So when I heard In Between, it just really felt like it was for me. So that's when I started getting into their music. Moving on. Their latest album is absolutely amazing. The first song I heard from it before I had like listened to more stuff off of the album was Bad Listener, which I believe I heard on some radio station. I don't know if it was like Pandora or like actual radio. I have no idea. But yeah, I heard Bad Listener, and the line like "there's no degree in rock and roll" like really stuck with me. I thought that was great. I don't know if that's original to them, but that part of the song, it's just like you just want to scream it at the top of your lungs because like you feel it. Like when you like these like non-conventional like I want to work in the music industry, and when you're in these like unconventional like career paths, like that's like the best way you can describe it. Like, it's not something you like, it's not something you necessarily learn, it's something you do. It's like completely immersive. Anyway, so particularly the song Bad Listener and then the title track Disease, I've really been like playing on repeat, and yeah, like so far, like from what I've seen, I think Beartooth can just do no wrong. You know, they've had a pretty like steady sound, not to the point that it's like monotonous and all sounds the same, but they like consistently make like really good music. So number 6, I feel like a lot of people might get on me about this band because it's like a stereotypical like I'm getting into heavy music like band, but that doesn't mean that they're not amazing. So my 6th album, yeah, 6, right? Yeah, my 6th album is Holy Hell by Architects, which I could listen to this album on repeat, and I have, while driving. I got into Architects because I was actually at a local band's show, I mean, they were opening up for Ocean's 8 Alaska, which, like, as far as how I am a fan of Ocean's 8 Alaska, like, I love their music, but it's more like in the sense that, like, the instrumentality of it, like, I could literally listen to just instrumentals of their music, so I'm not, like, overly attached to, like, their lyrics or anything, which is how I normally am with bands. So it's, like, a completely different relationship I have with their music. So I was at their show, and Steal the Day was opening, which is, like, one of the main reasons I went, because they're a local band from Orlando, and I love supporting, like, the local music, and also they're really talented. They recently were out a lead singer, and my friend, who I don't know super well, but whenever I, like, have talked to him, he's, like, super sweet. He was standing in as their lead singer, so I mainly wanted to, like, go support him. But in between sets, obviously they play music, and they were playing Architects. So I walked to the little, like, back of the venue and looked on their computer to see what they were playing. I was like, Architects, like, I don't know this band super well, like, let me start listening to them more. And I really got into their new album. I really started getting into metalcore this year. I started getting into it last year. Like, there were some gateway bands, Bless the Fall for sure, Ice Nine Kills, even Ice Nine Kills I didn't even get into until this year. So really just, like, the end of this year is when I've been, like, really having, like, a metalcore kick. So I got into Architects, and their new album is bomb. Hereafter, obviously, it's probably, like, their most popular song now, if I'm correct, which is from this album. Royal Beggars is really good. So, yeah, that's number 6. Let me take a little breather here. I'm gonna take a little break. Open my list back up. So, number 5 is where we start getting close to my heart. I'm literally so upset because I had the opportunity to see this band live this year, and but I was, like, low on funds at the time. I didn't want to take the risk to go and spend my money there, and I really regret it. But number 5 on this list is Identity Crisis by Waster, which, oh my goodness, I love this album so much. I love every single song, even though there's some songs that I listen to significantly more, but every song on this album is honestly just quote unquote a bop. Like, they're just all great. And I know some people are, like, very anti Waster for the same reasons that people are anti Neck Deep, but Neck Deep is literally one of my favorite bands of all time, and Waster does have a kind of similar sound, but they're not, like, a carbon copy or anything. They just have that similar, like, upbeat, like, high energy pop punk sound that I just really enjoy. This album, there are so many good songs in it, and I think one of my most listened to songs of the entire year that on my, like, top listened to Spotify playlist was Silly Me, which, if you have not heard this song, go do yourself a giant favor. It's so fun. Try to brush it off, silly me, I'm at it again. Silly Me is just, oh my god, it's just, it always gets stuck in my head. Every time I get in the car, I have to listen to it. It's just, oh my god. I'm honestly surprised this album isn't higher on my list, but at the same time, the albums that are next up are just really amazing too. So off of this album, Tell Me More, Bad to the Bone, Silly Me, Crisis, even though I don't listen to Crisis that much, but it was probably the first song I heard off of it, and then Promiscuous. The songs I listen to most are obviously Silly Me and then Promiscuous. What does it feel like? Yeah, honestly, I recommend this album to so many people. So I kind of, like, recommend this album and this band to them as, like, kind of like a gateway album and band, because I know that they'll like it, you know? Anyway, so just had to have this album on here. It's just so good. Okay. I'm gonna try and speed this up because my camera is about to die, and I hope it doesn't die. Number 4 on this list is Pilot by Hot Mulligan. I don't even really think I need to go overboard talking about this because you guys know how much I love and stan Hot Mulligan. And I already, at the beginning of this video, had a whole spiel on them when I was talking about another band, which wasn't completely fair. But, yeah, Pilot by Hot Mulligan, Every song on this album is just amazing. Yeah, let's just go with like Armadillo Shells, Michelle Branch. Like I scream every single word when I see them live. And obviously they also have like amazing music off like their old albums. Like you can literally go back to like their first like EP release, like their first demo release, and like it's just also equally as amazing as this album. But I think this album just kind of solidified them as like an up and coming band that like people are like clinging to and holding on to and becoming fans of. So oh, I love them so much. I do want to talk about this a little. So when I went to their show when they were opening for Seaway, they got stuck at the very back of the venue with like this very weird spot for like a merch table. And as the people like piled in like later as the night go on, like ripped their merch table. Like it literally just started going over. Because like during the bands, like they would kind of like leave it unattended. So literally like me and my friend had to we were standing at the back kind of like protecting their merch table from people knocking it over. Because people kept like falling into like the boxes of merch and like all this stuff because everything was just so cramped and so ugh. So whenever Tades came back, or the lead singer of the band came back, we were like, so basically this happened to your merch table, we've been standing here protecting it, like I'm sorry. And he was like, no, it's fine, I expected this to happen. So that was just like a funny story of like the first time I like actually talked to and met a member of Hot Mulligan. It was because I was trying to protect their merch. Third album of the year is Proper Dose by The Story So Far, which I and many other pop punkers I hate that word, have been waiting for the longest time, because it has been such a long time since The Story So Far has had a release, and there was so much hype about this release, and I feel like people either love it or hate it. I'm on the side of people who absolutely love it. I think it's beautiful, I think it's different in a great way. Sorry. Different in a great way, and just overall I genuinely believe that it was worth the wait. My favorite songs are Keep This Up, because that little breakdown, like, if you keep this up, we'll die here all alone, that constantly gets stuck in my head. And Out of It, which I just relate to. I mean, the title track, like Proper Dose, just like, there's just so many good songs on this album. Just like, trust me, go listen to it. Number 2 on my list is a great album. I mean, they're all great albums, but specifically this, as of this year, as of my friend Danny, thank you Danny, have become very obsessed with Ice Nine Kills, because when I was at Warp, my friend Danny was like, I need someone to come to this set with me, no one's down, and I was like, I'm a down ass bitch, so I'll come with you to see Ice Nine Kills. And we also saw Motionless and Crown the Empire. But anyway, Ice Nine Kills, I have never experienced that type of energy in a crowd ever before. It was absolutely insane. And after that, I went back and I started like listening to their music, and I got very, very, very into it very, very quickly. I really liked their whole aesthetic of like horror. You guys like know I love horror movies, so I really, really appreciated their aesthetic, and I thought that their lyrics were just like so clever, and this was something that isn't being done anywhere else in the scene, or at least as well as they do it. No tea, no shade, just facts. So yeah, so then their new album came out this year. Every single song is absolutely amazing. My favorites would probably have to be A Grave Mistake, Enjoy Your Sleigh, Stabbing in the Dark. I don't know. There's just so many. I'm obsessed with Spencer, who's the lead singer. I think he's like a mastermind. I really, really respect him. I've actually met him. I met him at Warp. Insert picture here. He's a great, incredibly talented dude with an incredible vision, and I think that is why the band is so successful, because he has such a concrete vision of what he wanted and what he now wants for the band, and he just sticks to it and runs with it, and people love that. People dig that. But yeah, good shit. And I know that they're not like the first people to like wear masks or like have a horror aesthetic. Like you can go back to like Slipknot, you can go back even farther than that, but like as far as like their genre of music and what they do with it, I just think it's very unique and great. Okay, so we've made it to number 1, and we have to move really quick because my camera's about to die. I'm so sorry. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. How to fix this. It's just gotten progressively worse. You know, This is so not right. This is so not right. I don't like it. This is not how it was before. How were you before? I don't remember. I hope this is okay enough. Because I am on my last one. My camera died. We had to take a little breather to recharge, take some Snapchat photos. And now we're back with number 1. Which may be debatable, but it's because I love this band so much, is Youngblood by 5 Sauce. I feel like a lot of my albums on this list were very hit or miss with the fan bases. I have been 5 Sauce trash as long as I can remember. Literally since way back in the day. I've read way too much 5 Sauce fan fiction to pretend I'm not like a super fan of this band. Like I'm like just like a super chill, like I listen to them sometimes. Like no, I love this band. So their new album, Youngblood, came out this year. It's very different. It's very different than their previous music. One of the things about 5 Sauce is that for like a very long time they were like labeled as a boy band, even though they play their own instruments. Even though they've always played their own instruments. So they spent a long time trying to prove that like they were like rock and roll. They were a rock band and they were worthy of like recognition under that right. And they also blew up when they were very young. You know, they were just teenagers. And obviously they're like in their 20s now. So not only are they maturing, but I feel like with this album their music has really matured. Like what they're doing isn't just like your standard pop music. Like they're really doing stuff that I think is very like ahead of its time, and I'm so glad that people are like recognizing it. Like they're pushing the boundaries with like their musicality and their lyrics, like working on their own songwriting skills. I remember watching their video series where they would drink and then describe their songs, and when it came to this song, I guess Luke started out with like just that line. Like they just started out with the concept of like going to a place where you used to go with your loved one or your significant other, and now you're going there alone, and you just wonder, are they also alone right now and thinking about the same things that I am, thinking back on what was and what could have been, and all these kind of emotions that you start experiencing as life goes on. And I don't know, I just respect them so much and love them so much. Anyway, as far as individual songs, like I said, Woke Up in Japan, Valentine, God, why am I always blinking when I need to talk about songs? Youngblood, obviously, the title track. Moving along. Oh, okay. Wow, forgot my favorite song on the entire album, which is Why Won't You Love Me, which is also a song that, although it is my favorite, I can't listen to all the time because it's just like it's me. The sincerity when he is singing Why Won't You Love Me, I deeply feel that. Heart-wrenching. But it's just, oh my god. I loved all their last albums, but it's a big step forward, I guess, for them. Like they're, like as they're changing, their music is changing, and it's just beautiful to watch. So that's why that's my number 1 album of the year. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoy talking about music, obviously, and talking about film, which I've done before on this channel, even though I haven't done it in a while. I've kind of been really bad about getting reviews out, even on Letterboxd, and I haven't been watching as many movies. I've been going through a time where I haven't been watching as many movies, but I have been listening to a lot of music, as always, so I was happy to make this video and talk about some of that with you guys. So, if you like this video and like me talking about what kind of music I've been feeling, or just want me to talk more about music and like what I'm doing and like what I'm in college for and like what's going on, or like more concert vlogs, please just like let me know so I can be making the kind of content that you guys want to watch. So yeah, just let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on the notification bell if you want to actually know when I'm uploading, because YouTube does not tell anyone anymore. And yeah, that's about it. That's about all for this. I'll see you guys in my next video.